I found Lucy back in the canyon. Wrapped her in my coat. Buried her with my own hands.
What was she?
What do you want me to do? Draw you a picture? Spell it out? Don't ever ask me. Long as you live, don't ever ask me more.
Let's face it, the set of a John Ford Western wasn't your typical Hollywood playground. Known for his harsh temper, brilliant direction, and love for pranks, Ford ran a tight, unpredictable ship. But even in the chaos of filming The Searchers in 1956, no one expected what one actor did to try and win over a co-star. That's right, Ward Bond, the actor who played the blustering Reverend Captain Clayton, strolled around naked in his motel room with the curtains wide open, hoping to catch the attention of none other than Vera Miles, who played Lori Jorgensen. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. But this bizarre attempt is just one of the many stories that make The Searchers such a fascinating production. Before we dive deeper into Bond's, let's call it unconventional courtship tactics. Let's rewind and set the scene. The Searchers is often hailed as one of the greatest westerns of all time, with John Wayne delivering what many consider the best performance of his career as the morally complex Ethan Edwards. Directed by John Ford, the film follows Ethan's years-long quest to rescue his kidnapped niece, Debbie, played by Natalie Wood. But this wasn't just any western. With themes of obsession, revenge, and racism, it remains a landmark film that challenged the genre's typical black and white portrayal of good versus evil. Despite the film's serious undertones, life on set was anything but solemn. Monument Valley, the iconic shooting location on the Arizona-Utah border, was scorching, with temperatures regularly soaring past 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Cast and crew had to endure grueling conditions, with little relief except for Ford's mandatory Earl Grey tea breaks. Yes, even in the desert. And if you think that's wild, wait until you hear about the antics of Ward Bond. Bond, who was a close friend of John Wayne and appeared alongside him in many films, was known for being, well, a bit of a character. But during The Searchers, he took things to a whole new level. According to John Ford's biography, after a long day of filming in the desert, Bond would return to his motel room, strip down completely, and walk around with the curtains open, hoping Vera Miles would notice. Unfortunately for Bond, Miles didn't return his affections, and this peculiar strategy did little more than give the crew something to laugh about. If Bond's antics sound chaotic, they're par for the course on a John Ford set. Ford was infamous for his unpredictable behavior and practical jokes, many of which involved embarrassing his cast. But even Ford had his limits, and Bond almost crossed them during the filming of a key scene involving John Wayne's Ethan Edwards delivering a solemn speech about finding his niece's murdered sister, Lucy. Wayne nailed the scene on the first take, but for some strange reason, the camera had mysteriously stopped rolling. Ford was livid. He grilled the crew, demanding to know what had gone wrong. As it turns out, Ward Bond had unplugged the camera so he could use his electric razor. The crew, fearing Ford's wrath, kept this little detail a secret until years later, after Bond's death. When Ford finally found out at a Hollywood event, his face reportedly turned white, and, for once, the notoriously quick-tempered director was left speechless. One of the more endearing moments came when John Wayne stopped production for a few days, so co-star Beulah Archuleta, who played Look, could attend her son's wedding. Archuleta had been crying in one of the teepees because she thought she'd missed the big day. When Wayne found out, he arranged for her to be flown to California, a gesture that earned him respect among the cast and crew. Speaking of John Wayne, let's talk about his dedication to the role of Ethan Edwards. Wayne considered Ethan to be the best character he ever played, and even named his youngest son Ethan Wayne in tribute. Usually known for his laid-back demeanor on set, Wayne took this role seriously, staying in character between takes and delivering a more layered, nuanced performance than audiences were used to seeing from him. His portrayal of Ethan, a man driven by obsession and racial hatred, was groundbreaking and remains one of cinema's most compelling performances. But Wayne wasn't the only star making waves. Natalie Wood, who played Debbie, was still in high school during production. Wayne and Jeffrey Hunter, who played her adoptive brother Martin, would often pick her up from school and take her to set, causing a stir among her classmates. Imagine being a teenager and getting picked up by two of Hollywood's biggest stars. It's no wonder Wood later recalled those days with fondness. Wood wasn't the only young actress on set. Her younger sister Lana Wood played the younger version of Debbie. Lana's audition process was a bit unusual. John Ford had John Wayne lift her up to see if she was light enough for the role. Once Wayne confirmed she was, Lana was cast, and the rest is history. The film's production wasn't without its challenges. Temperatures in Monument Valley were so extreme that many crew members struggled to work through the heat. John Ford himself was stung by a scorpion during filming. When investors worried about the director's condition, John Wayne reassured them in true Duke fashion, "John's fine, it's the scorpion who died." And then there's the legendary shot of Wayne framed in the doorway at the film's end. That pose, where he holds his right elbow with his left hand, was a spontaneous tribute to silent film star Harry Carey, whose wife Olive and son Harry Carey Jr. were both part of the cast. It's one of the most iconic final shots in film history, embodying the loneliness and complexity of Ethan Edwards. Despite the chaos on set, The Searchers went on to become a critical and commercial success. It was one of the first films selected for preservation by the U.S. National Film Registry, and continues to influence directors like Steven Spielberg, Martin Scorsese, and George Lucas, who borrowed elements of Ethan Edwards' character for his portrayal of Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars. But perhaps one of the most unexpected legacies of The Searchers is its connection to the world of rock and roll. During a screening in 1956, Buddy Holly and his friends were so taken by John Wayne's line, "That'll be the day," that they used it as the title of their hit song. Now it's time to hear from you. What do you think about Ward Bond's wild attempt to impress Vera Miles? Do you have a favorite behind-the-scenes story from The Searchers? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating Hollywood stories.